What's going on, guys? My name's AbsolutelyBlake and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another wild story time to share with you guys. I've never actually told anybody this story, so you guys sit back, relax, enjoy. Every single person listening to this right now, this is the very first time I have ever shared this, I think. So for those of you who are new here, hit that subscribe button for me. It helps me out a lot. We're on the road to 200K. Thank you so much. Second of all, I was a foster kid twice in my early years. First time being in 2006, where I was ripped out of my family, put into foster care for 9 months with random families, absolute worst experience of my life. And then a second time in 2008 on, and now I'm a Crown Ward, and those years were a lot better, and that's when this story time takes place. So in 2008, when I was put into foster care my second time, I was living with my mom's friends. They took my sister and me in, and it was actually fucking wild. Like, we had a great time there. I do have a video on foster care and on the time living there and all my little plans and stuff, so I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but pretty much all you have to know is that this takes place in 2008. That would have been 12 years ago today, so I would have been 14 years old. So if you're watching this video to get off, as I know some of you do for my story times, you're sick in the head, because I was really young, and I'm gonna still tell this story. People told me not to tell my young stories, but this shit is wild, and I cannot believe it happened. So 14-year-old Blake, probably super horny, probably just learning how to masturbate, and probably just getting into porn and stuff like that. Now, I was a very, very late kid when it came to having sex, doing stuff with girls. I'm still shy doing stuff with girls. It's like wild. Like, my mindset is I'm a pussy, pretty much. I know I act like I'm not, but I fucking am. I hadn't even like really kissed a girl when I was 14. You know, I did little dares and stuff like that. I've not done anything with a girl when I was 14. I pretty much was just a solo dolo in foster care. So being in foster care, ripped away from my family, nothing really to do. I didn't even have a PlayStation at the time. I was experimenting with myself, and honestly, this all felt really good, so I just kept on doing it. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this website. I think it's called 86.com, but I had found it back in the day. Let's find out if it's a real one. Okay, I can't find it right now, but it was something along, it was in the 80s for sure, but it was one of those, like 83.com, 86.com, but it was pretty much a pornographic site. And me being so young, I had no idea that history in the browser stays there and stuff like that, but my sister was really smart and she could find history. So I was actually called out in this foster care, completely side story here, but I was actually called out for looking at porn while living here when I was only 14 years old. That was embarrassing. Nowadays, I don't give a shit who knows what I watch or when I watch it, but back in the day, I used to be super scared. Actually, this is a great thing to point out. You guys see the most open Blake on YouTube, but I promise you, I am not in person. I'm a little bit more open now, but back in the day, oh my god, like now I could send a dick pic to my friends as a joke, but holy shit, if I was even in the same house naked, I would dislike it. Definitely a lot more open now, and I definitely think that's partly because I share my life online. So anyways, there is this website called 86.com, let's just call it that. There's all these different kinds of videos that help you get off. So I have no idea if I came up with this idea by myself or if I just wanted to try it. I do like challenging myself, but I came up with the idea that I wanted to have an orgasm by just thoughts. And partly the reason because of this is because the area was so open. Let me lay it out for you. This is the upstairs here. You would walk down the stairs, it would have like a U, so the downstairs would come down here. The computer station is right here, and you can see the upstairs right there. You're sitting at the computer station, complete open living room. My sister's room was right behind me, my room was a little bit further back. My sister wasn't in the house at the time, she was out with her friends or something like that, but the foster parents were. Now, I couldn't really have any sound, obviously, because this was like those old school white speakers. There's no headphones. I mean, I didn't even really know what I was doing. It was like a Windows 98. Like, like just looking back on it, thinking about the stuff I used, it's like pilgrim shit. Anyways, they had a dog, so if something happened, the dog would bark and they would come running downstairs. Now, Googling the mind technique nowadays, it is actually possible for people to do it. Now, I honestly can't remember like the day or the time or whatever happened or what even kind of video I watched. By the way, I like lesbian. That's my go-to. Or squirt. Fetish. I don't know why. But I decided, you know what? We're gonna sit here and we're gonna use only my mind to try and ejaculate. So it took a lot of brain power, I'm not gonna lie. I clicked on 86.com. I picked a video. For me at that time, any video worked. Now it's like, I'm on page 786 trying to find the right one, but no, I'm just kidding. I don't watch porn. I watch, yeah, I can't talk about that. Anyways, I pick a video. Only God knows what kind. Even before this, actually, side note, I used to download this kind of shit on LimeWire, like before this. That's where I used to get my porn, LimeWire, if you guys remember what that is. That had some wild shit on it. But, so I'm sitting down at the computer chair, one of those ones that goes up and down, spins and stuff like that, and I'm wearing like, it must have been shorts. Must have been. And for the record, I am uncircumcised, so it's really sensitive in my manlyhood when it rubs against anything. So, I'm sitting there and I'm watching this video and I'm just thinking in my head that I'm the person or that I'm getting off, and this is so weird because I've never had sex before, I've never had a blowjob, I've never had any of this stuff before, but I'm just thinking about it and watching it, and I have masturbated, so I know the feeling. But yeah, I couldn't tell you if I was like moving my hips or if I was like rubbing against the boxers. From my mind memory, from being way back when, and I shut out a lot of stuff about being in foster care, but this came to me the other day, is that I was completely still. It was complete brain power, and I'm sitting there just watching, just I can't even imagine what I looked like. And I remember like the feeling of it coming on, close, then not, close, then not. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just came in my boxers. Hello, darkness, my old friend. But it fucking happened to me. Doing it with your mind, it still felt like somebody else was doing it because like I didn't touch myself at all. Now I've never tried this again because honestly I cannot be fucked with the time it takes to do this. It's embarrassing to talk about, although I feel pretty fucking wild that it did, because when I was looking it up, a very small percentage of people can actually make that happen. And yeah guys, that's the story time about how I ejaculated with my mind. Never done it again, might try it, who knows. If you enjoyed it and you love these story times, smash that like button, leave me comments down below to respond to, go follow my Instagram at AbsolutelyBlake, just posted an epic booty pic with the skyline of Toronto, and don't forget to subscribe for new videos every single Thursday, and pretty soon starting up Saturdays again. Peace.